Hey guys, what's up? I hope you are doing well today. So, today we're going to discuss about the second conditional sentence. Kalimat pengandaian bentuk kedua. Okay. Let's see the example below. And the second conditional describes an imaginary, impossibility or unlikely situation in the present or future. Jadi kalimat pengandaian conditional bentuk kedua ini menggambarkan sebuah imajinasi, ya, imajinasi sesuatu yang tidak mungkin terjadi di saat sekarang ataupun di masa yang akan datang. Jadi ketika kita berimajinasi tentang sesuatu yang tidak mungkin terjadi di masa sekarang maupun di masa yang akan datang, kita menggunakan kalimat pengandaian bentuk kedua ini, the second conditional sentence. See for the example, if I had a lot of money, I would buy an expensive car. If I had a lot of money, I would buy an expensive car. Jika saya punya banyak uang, saya akan membeli mobil yang mahal. So, in this sentence, consists of two parts. The first one is conditions, containing the if clause, and then the second is as the result. If I had a lot of money, jika saya punya banyak uang, the result is I would buy an expensive car. Saya akan membeli mobil yang mahal. But in the reality, I do not have a lot of money right now. Kenyataannya saya tidak punya banyak uang sekarang. But in this condition, I use the second conditional sentence to imagine that I'm having a lot of money. Saya menggunakan kalimat pengandaian kedua untuk menghayal bahwa saya punya banyak uang saat ini. The situation is hypothetical or not real. Situasinya tidak nyata, hanya imajinasi. So we are using the second conditional sentence like I had a lot of money, I would buy an expensive car. Okay, that was the example of the second conditional sentence. And then look at the pattern. The pattern of the second conditional sentence is if plus conditions plus result. So we have condition and result. Another example is if he knew her telephone number, he would call her. If he knew her telephone number, he would call her. Jika dia tahu nomor teleponnya, dia akan menelponnya. So in this sentence, we put comma after the condition and before the result. Ada koma setelah klausa kondisi dan sebelum result. If he knew the telephone number, comma, he would call her. Dia akan menelponnya. And we can also change the order of the sentence. Could be like result comes first, and then if, and then condition. Result, if, condition. It would be like he would call her if he knew her telephone number. Dia akan menelponnya jika dia tahu nomor teleponnya. He would call her if he knew her telephone number. So in this case, we do not use comma. So he would call her if he knew her telephone number. Okay, that was another example of the second conditional sentence. So in the present, he does not know the telephone number. The man does not know her telephone number. It is the reality. It is impossible for him to call her because he doesn't have her telephone number. How can he call her? So it is impossible for him to call her. So in this case, we are using the second conditional to describe the unreal situation happens to the man. So if he knew her telephone number, he would call her, or he would call her if he knew her telephone number. Okay, that was the part. If conditional result, or result if condition. Okay, let's move on. The form of the condition. So the condition clause, ya klausa kondisinya bentuknya kayak apa? So the question is, what tense are the verbs in this condition? Tense yang dipakai pada kata kerja pada klausa condition ini apa? Take a look of these two examples. If I had a lot of money, if I had a lot of money, I would buy an expensive car. If I had a lot of money, and then the second sentence, if he knew her telephone number, if he knew a telephone number, he would call her. So here we got if I had and if he knew. These are the past simple tense. Had and knew, past simple. The past tense here is indicating the distance from reality. It is indicating that the sense, the condition, the situation is not real. The past tense here is not indicating the past time. Yeah, you got it? Let's go on. Okay, next, the form of the result. So the result clause form is subject plus would plus base form of verb, or we can also say verb 1, subject, would, and verb 1, or the base form of verb. So the sentence could be, if I had lots of money, if I had lots of money, I would go to London. If I had lots of money, I would go to London. I would go to London. So I would, I, subject, would, and go. Go is the base form of verb, or verb 1, go. I would go. So in the condition clause, we use simple past, I had, and in the result clause, we use would and base form of verb, would go. Okay. Let's take a look of the following. The full form could be I would go, you would go, he would go, she would go, it would go, we would go, you would go, they would go. Yeah. So we can say I would go, I would study, I would eat, I would sleep. Yeah, the base form of the verb. And then those can be constructed like I would go becomes I'd go, and then you'd go, he'd go, she'd go, it'd go, we'd go, you'd go, they'd go. So this construction is often used in spoken English or informal conversation. If I had lots of money, I'd go to London. Okay, let's move on. Next, the verb of be in the second conditional. The verb of to be as the main verb in the conditional sentence, the second conditional sentence. The sentence is the past simple of subjunctive mood. Subjunctive mood. Here are the normal past form of be. It is indicative mood. I was, you were, he was, she was, it was, we were, they were. And for the past simple of be in subjunctive mood that we use in the second conditional sentence, it becomes like I were, you were, he were, she were, it were, we were, you were, they were. So the be used here is were. Say, let's see the example. If I were you, I would go to London. Yeah, this is the correct one, yang benar in conditional sentence. If I were you, jika saya menjadi kamu, I would go to London. And then the second sentence, if I was you, I would go to London. This is incorrect one in the second conditional sentence. The correct one is using were. If I were you, not if I was you. And second example is, if he were rich, he would buy an expensive car. Jika dia kaya, dia akan membeli mobil yang mewah. It is not, if she was rich, he would buy an expensive car. It is incorrect. The correct one is, if he were rich. So, if he were rich, jika dia kaya. So, we are using the verb to be were in all subjects for the second conditional sentence. So, please keep it in mind. Okay? Yeah, let's move on. Yeah, besides using would is one of the modals verb. We can also use another modals like might or could. Here are the examples. If you played tennis together, he would win. Jika kamu bermain tenis bersama, dia akan menang. It is unlikely you will play tennis together, but I'm certain that he would win. Kayaknya tidak mungkin kamu bermain tenis bersama dia, but I'm certain, tapi saya yakin he would win. Dia akan menang. Yeah? Look at the picture. He is a professional tennis player. And then the second example, if you play tennis together, he might win. Jika kamu bermain tenis bersama, dia mungkin menang. So, it is unlikely you will play tennis together. Tidak mungkin bermain tenis bersama. But I'm not certain that he would win. Tetapi di sini dalam kalimat ini, saya tidak yakin dia akan menang. Maybe he would win. Mungkin dia akan menang. He might win means that maybe he would win. Okay, and next example is, if you play tennis together, he could win. Jika kamu bermain tenis bersama, dia bisa menang. Bisa saja menang. It is unlikely you will play tennis together. Kayaknya nggak mungkin kalian bermain tenis bersama. He would be able to win. Dia akan bisa menang. He would have the ability to win. Dia punya kemampuan untuk menang. So, in this sense, the meaning is he would be able to win. Dia mungkin bisa akan menang. Because he would have the ability to win. Karena dia punya kemampuan untuk menang. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. The second conditional versus the first conditional. Let's compare between the second conditional sentence and the first conditional sentence. Let's see the second conditional sentence. If I became president, I would reduce taxes. Jika saya menjadi presiden, saya akan menurunkan pajak. So this is conditional sentence. We use became in the condition sentence, became, the past tense, and we use would in the result. I would reduce. It is conditional. The second conditionals, the situation here is imaginary, unlikely or impossible. Yeah, impossible to happen. Sangat tidak mungkin terjadi. Look at the picture. The speaker is perhaps a young student. Ya, yang ngomong, yang bicara kalimat ini mungkin seorang siswa yang masih muda. And she is dreaming about the future. Dia sedang menghayal tentang masa depan. Jadi dia berkata, if I became president, I would reduce taxes. Jika saya menjadi presiden, saya akan menurunkan pajak. Okay, let's see the second condition. If I become president, I will reduce taxes. If I become president, I will reduce taxes. It is the first conditional sentence. We use become, the base form of the verb, become, the verb 1, and we use will in the result. I will. Okay, this is the first conditional sentence. In this situation, it is more real. It is a realistic promise. Why? Perhaps the candidate, the speaker is the candidate of the election. See the picture there. It is Hillary Clinton, the candidate of president in America. She was. And she was speaking this sentence, if I become president, I will reduce taxes. In this situation, it is more real because the person speaking this sentence is the candidate, the real candidate of the election. Okay, so that was the difference between the second conditional sentence and first conditional sentence. So the difference is in meaning, is not the time. The difference is in the meaning, not the time. Ya, makna yang berbeda, yang bukan waktu. Walaupun di second conditional sentence we use past tense, dan di first conditional we use present, it is not different in the time. It both refer to present and future. Kedua-duanya mengacu pada waktu sekarang dan yang akan datang. Walaupun second conditional sentence menggunakan past tense, kalimat ini mengacu pada waktu sekarang atau yang akan datang. Perbedaannya adalah the meaning. The difference is in the meaning, makna dari kedua kalimat ini. Okay, so let's move on. Yeah, I think this is the end of these sections. Now make your own of the second conditional sentences. Okay, try to make your own sentence using second conditional sentence to practice at home, and see you next meeting, and good luck.